neighbor has been cheating on his fiance for the last 8 months, and I think I accidentally told her. I just need to get this off my chest and maybe get some advice. I 26F live in a complex where I am lucky enough to be at least civil with all my neighbors. We all help each other out, and if someone needs anything we don't hesitate. At least I felt lucky until about a week and a half ago. Our complex is pretty dated, and it being in the middle of college campus area doesn't help. I live below a couple who I get along with pretty well. The girl in the relationship I'll call L I talk to regularly. As she is usually getting home in the evening when I'm taking my dog on his last walk, 9 times out of 10 L will join in with me and walk around the block where we chat, and she vents about work and I do the same. We both agree it's the best part of our day. L fiance, who we will call T, works the opposite schedule as her. As he works days, and he's usually home by the time L is getting ready to go to work, L let me know this was temporary as they are adjusting to new jobs, and she's waiting for opportunity to work day shift at her job. Well, in the last 8 months or so, as L leaves around 2:30 in the afternoon, and not long after, I started noticing this girl who comes by heads up the stairs, and shortly after I hear the door above me shut. Like I mentioned, our complex is pretty dated, so the walls are pretty thin, and if you even slam a door too hard, you'll feel it. T has a habit of shutting the door loudly, so I know she's entering that particular apartment. At first I thought maybe she was his sister, as I knew he had 3, but then the visits became regular, and around this time I got a new schedule, so I was home well around this time. I noticed that said girl was gone always before L got home. And she never made eye contact with me if I saw her in the walkway. About 2 months ago, maybe more, T was carrying up some groceries from our garage and happened to drop his wallet. I was pretty busy at the time, so I picked it up and told myself I'd give to either him or L. Well, I get home and I happen to see said girl as she's heading up the stairs, so I stop her and hand her his wallet. She stops me, and with a very red face and shaky voice she goes, I don't know him. Mind you, this whole time she wouldn't look me in the eye. That's when my intuition told me that this definitely wasn't his sister if she was lying. So very calmly, I say, what do you mean? You're his sister, right? I see you go in there all the time. I'm not exaggerating when I say this girl literally pushed me out of the way and left the way she came from and didn't say a word. I knew something was up. So I went up the stairs, knocked on the door, where T answered, all too eager. Now, I think this is worth mentioning about myself. I don't condone cheating. I grew up in a home where my father constantly cheated on my mother, and I myself was cheated on. It destroyed me. So when I saw the smile on T's face disappear as he realized I wasn't who he was expecting, something in me triggered but still kept my composure. I looked at T and said, sorry, you were probably expecting your friend. I tried handing her your wallet, you dropped it earlier, but she must have forgotten something because she went back towards the front. Tell L I say hi, T said, thank you, as I watched his mind race. Well, since then I'm assuming they talked to each other because the visits became less regular, but I still caught her coming, but she started taking the long way to get to his apartment. Mind you, I have a Ring camera, so from time to time I'd see her crossing the courtyard. This whole time I thought maybe I should tell L, but strangely enough our walks became less regular, and when we would see each other T was around. Again, this gut feeling would never leave me. Well, fast forward to a week ago. Like I mentioned before, L and I talked regularly, so I know her work schedule. It's a Sunday night, her day off, when I start hearing banging and the loudest moaning I have ever heard coming from above me. I naturally assumed it was L and T getting on, as they are usually pretty loud. I don't think much of it but put in my headphones and start cleaning, thinking maybe said mystery girl is gone with the wind. Well, the next day L catches me on my last walk and asks to join. We are about halfway with our walk when we start talking about sexy time, and I jokingly and stupidly say, yeah, tell me about it, you two were louder than normal yesterday, to which L stops dead in her tracks and goes, what do you mean? I worked yesterday for some extra cash, so I explained to her what I heard. L immediately excused herself and bolted ahead of me and left me to finish the walk on my own. Immediately I knew what I had done. It's been almost 2 weeks since then and I haven't seen her. Her car hasn't been in the garage and T won't even look at me when we see each other. Deep down I knew this was coming, just wish it wouldn't have been me. Edit/update. I've been debating on updating on this as the comments are still coming and some are extremely kind and some are just not. That being said, this update isn't a good one, but here it is. Since this last post I mentioned I'd reach out to L, well I did. We touched base. She let me know what had been going on. That for the last few months her and T hadn't been intimate. That she had suffered a miscarriage, and at the time T had told her that he wanted time for her body to recover. At first, she thought it was kind and sweet, then she caught him on his phone talking to other women. He assured her that it was never physical, but she knew deep down that there was more. I told her my half. How I was sorry for not telling her sooner, and she assured me that it wasn't my fault. Then after she broke things off with T, strange things started happening. He became a whole other person, showing up at her work and parents' house. One day she even ran into him at a Target that was nowhere near the area he worked or we live. She became suspicious that he was tracking her. She took her car in to be inspected, where they recovered a tracking device. From there T only became more erratic. He threatened to end his life. He broke into her car. It all became too much for L, and she had to get a no-contact order. Now, for the worst part. I ran into T not long after the no-contact order was placed in the parking garage. He was severely intoxicated. He started yelling at me that it was all my fault. That I was a witch. I had my dog with me, who then started barking at him. He came at me, and I hate to say it, but he laid hands on me. Badly. He kicked and punched my dog, who's only 20 pounds. Badly hurt him. Another neighbor heard me screaming and came to help me. They went at it. Cops were called. Charges were made. I wish I had more to say. But I'm honestly very much over this. I wish I wouldn't have gotten involved. Elle feels horrible, but I want to make it clear that I in no way blame her for anything. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the channel for more content like this.